the studios of KTEN Television. This is KTEN News at 6.
Right now on KTEN News at 6, selfie as an Elfie, what some local retailers are doing to try and drum up shopper excitement for the holidays.
Plus, boil order, why some Texomans had to head off to work today without their usual morning shower.
And decision debate, Texomans react to the civil unrest in Ferguson after a grand jury's decision not to prosecute the officer who shot Michael Brown. KTEN News at 6 starts right now. Good evening, I'm Meredith Saldana. Welcome to KTEN News at 6.
And I'm Tom Crespo. A grand jury's decision not to indict the officer that killed Ferguson teen Michael Brown has resulted in backlash from communities all across the country.
Questions have been raised as to the timing of the 8 p.m. announcement. Chaos erupted in the streets of Ferguson last night after crowds heard the news. Riots and looting broke out amidst a sea of tear gas and police in riot gear. As many as 12 businesses were destroyed, windows broken and cars set on fire. More than 60 people were arrested in Ferguson alone, and gunshots could be heard throughout the night. 18 people had to be taken to the hospital. Protests were held nationwide as well last night, from Oakland to New York City. Communities across the country expressing their anger over the decision in various ways. Thousands took to the streets, chanting with bullhorns and holding signs blocking traffic as they went along.
The protests continued today, most of them peaceful. From coast to coast, thousands showed their displeasure for the decision. Some are even calling for a no Black Friday, asking for shoppers not to participate in the retail holiday. Now, there have been no protests in Texoma, but what's happening in Ferguson is still on the minds of many. KTEN's Meredith Yeomans picks up that part of the story. She joins us with local reaction to the grand jury's decision.
I never had to go through nothing like this.
The reaction in Ferguson following a grand jury's decision not to indict Officer Darren Wilson is fueling conversation at shops like Travis Street Salons in Sherman.
I wouldn't participate in anything like that because that's not solving the problem.
Looting and everything else is just not the way to respond in a situation like this.
While the town of Ferguson adds up the damage, questions linger about Officer Wilson's actions the day he shot and killed Michael Brown. Questions like whether it was necessary to fire a total of 12 rounds.
That's too much. One shot to the leg or something to bring him down would have been good enough, but the fatal shot to the head, no, that's not acceptable at all.
Grand jury transcripts show Wilson testified that during a scuffle, Brown grabbed his gun and hit him. Wilson said he fired a shot. Brown fled, turned around, then came back, put his hands under his shirt and did not stop. Wilson shot him numerous times. And after weeks of testimony from Wilson and witnesses, a grand jury of 9 whites and 3 blacks decided there was not enough evidence to charge the officer. While much is being made about the widening racial divide the case is causing,
they all came up with the same answers and they had everybody involved in it.
You just don't turn around and start burning down buildings when you don't get your way.
Moving forward, the concern is no longer what a grand jury will decide, but instead what will happen next, both on the streets of Ferguson and in court. Federal charges are still possible. The Brown family could also file a wrongful death lawsuit. The U.S. Department of Justice is conducting 2 civil rights investigations, one into whether Wilson violated Brown's civil rights and the other into the police department itself. Live in the studio, Meredith Yeomans, KTEN News. An Ardmore man is behind bars after a late-night stabbing. 35-year-old Jeff D. Valdez was arrested around 11 o'clock last night after police responded to a disturbance in the 700 block of 3rd Northwest, where someone had reportedly been stabbed. Valdez is charged with assault and battery with a deadly weapon. He's being held in the Carter County Jail on a $35,000 bond. A Denison mechanic convicted of stealing thousands from customers is now ordered to pay his victims back. In August, a Grayson County judge sentenced Steve Allen Morrow to 10 years probation for 2 counts of theft. He ran M&P Auto Shop in Denison. Last spring, he admitted to taking money from customers and not completing any of the work. Prosecutors say he stole to feed a gambling addiction. Today, a judge ordered him to pay $23,000 to 11 victims. Morrow originally asked to pay only $7,800 of what he stole. Failure to pay could result in prison time.
And turning now to weather, it's a pretty nice weather the last few days, but how long is this going to last?
Let's get a quick check of that forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell. Alan.
Well, the plan is for it to last through the weekend anyway before some changes start to show up. As a matter of fact, after tomorrow, we'll start to see a warming trend. That'll get us to around 70 by the weekend. So great travel weather around our part of the country for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend as well. Kind of a cold start in the morning, but we'll be near 60, much like today, by tomorrow afternoon.
Many people in Howe woke up without water this morning and to a strict boil order.
KTEN's Rachel Salyer is live in the studio with when they can expect things to get back to normal. Rachel?
At last check, crews are still working on repairing the pipe that burst. After that, the water will have to be tested, so it will be at least another day of the boil advisory and possibly even longer. A burst pipe in Howe near Highway 92 resulted in a boil order early Tuesday.
Just make sure that you boil your water before you drink it. You can get sick from this water.
Parts of the town are without any water at all, but once restored, it will need to come to a rolling boil for 3 minutes. Monday, a pipe burst during construction, then a second pipe burst as a result, bringing the water levels in the tank dangerously low.
In the bottom is a lot of sediment and microorganisms. That can be very dangerous to drink.
Would-be customers trying to get into restaurants found the doors locked after the Grayson County Health Department ordered them to close until the order is lifted.
Just went to the restaurant and it was closed, obviously because we don't have any water in town. I have to go to Van Alstyne for lunch.
Schools would be shut down but are already released for Thanksgiving break. Many parents are taking them to the dentist, one of the only open businesses.
We didn't have to change anything. Our dental units are all self-contained water supply with distilled water. Our hand washing is city water followed with alcohol.
Crews began working on the pipe as soon as it burst Monday night about 10 o'clock. They worked all throughout the night and say it took them several hours to get the pipe out of the ground because it was buried so far under rock that they had to dig several feet down. Once the pipe itself is repaired, a sample will be taken and tested by TCEQ, which could take half a day. If it's a clean sample, the order will be lifted.
If they come back fail, we'll continue the boil order until it's positive results. We're hoping that we'll be all clear before Thanksgiving.
Water should be restored to the city within the next few hours. Home filter systems like Brita aren't strong enough to clean the water, so if you're not going to boil before you drink, you're best to go with bottled water. Live in the studio, Rachel Salyer, KTEN News.
Still ahead, local retailers turn holiday shopping into a game at their stores. How you can play.
Plus, the Dallas Cowboys will play for the NFC East top spot in just 2 days. Hear from head coach Jason Garrett later in sports.
And Allen's back with a full forecast when KTEN News at 6 returns. It's winner take all at Denison's Munson Stadium this Friday night as Pottsboro and Whitesboro battle it out in the region semis. Hear from both sides of the battle of the boroughs coming up later in sports. That and more still ahead.
You're watching KTEN News at 6 with Tom Crespo, Meredith Saldana, sports with Chase Shannon, and Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell with the weather.
And over the next few days, we have a couple weak fronts coming through, but they'll be dry fronts and really won't change our temperatures much at all. I think we'll have to wait till about probably next Tuesday, Wednesday time frame to see really a major weather pattern change. So it's kind of what we see is what we get, or only by the weekend even a little bit better as far as temperatures go. Right now we're seeing clear skies, light westerly winds across the area. Temperatures are starting to drop off with the sunset, of course. And as we go southward bound, our Dr. Jack Thomas Tower camera, lots of folks out traveling this evening. No weather-related issues across our area anyway. Radar's clear too, with the exception being far southeastern parts of the country. And there's a storm system that's developing down in the Florida region that's going to track up the eastern coast over the next day or so and bring some heavy snowfall to a New England area and the eastern coast. So I'll show you that outlook area in just a moment, just for those who are planning airline travel anywhere from, say, Washington, D.C. up through New York, Boston, and that general region. All right, temperature-wise this afternoon made it to 60. Just about a normal day for us. At the North Texas Regional Airport, records are 19 and 82, set way back in 1926. A little bit colder across eastern sections of our region, about 40 degrees, comparing that to around 48 to 50 from Durant and Sherman and Denison. Paris at 54, and Ardmore a little bit cooler there, 46 degrees. Not really a whole lot of change from all across the state, from the northwest to the southeastern areas, still in the 40s, so doing pretty good there. there. Just a little bit of high-level clouds moving through tonight. We'll look for sunshine again tomorrow because of this guy right here. That's high pressure, and we like him this time of year because we generally wind up with sunny days, not necessarily strong winds, and kind of clear, cold nights, of course, can be expected this time of year, but generally a tranquil weather pattern. Down here, though, where the low is, again, producing a lot of storminess, and over the next couple of days as that heads up the coast, again, heavy snowfall there. Light winds at this hour, dropping off to around calm to about 5 miles an hour. Temperature change from, say, this time yesterday. Well, we're down a few degrees in most areas. Not quite as mild at this hour as it was yesterday, as temperatures drop off a little bit quicker, several degrees below. And by tomorrow afternoon, though, much like today, generally just about all locations, mid to upper 50s to even a couple 60-degree readings across northern portions of Texas, just like today. So another great day to head out on your travel across our area. Again, as we look up the northeastern part of the country, though, heavy snowfall will begin to occur Wednesday, and then the system will exit for Thursday, so that'll be gone, but it will produce a wide band of very heavy snowfall just inland from the coast. So major airport delays, I think, would be expected all the way from Baltimore area, Washington, D.C., up through New York, and into Boston as well, even out around St. Louis, a little bit of snow there. We'll sum it up for you like this over the next several days. About 60 tomorrow, close to that around Thanksgiving Day. And then we start a warm up as south winds return. It will be a windy Saturday, but with a southerly wind, we'll get to around 70 degrees over the weekend. And then we start to cool down next week somewhat, with rain chances beginning to improve a little bit as well toward next Tuesday and Wednesday. And I would think the latter part of next week would be significantly colder than what we see at the beginning.
Awesome holiday forecast.
Oh, yeah, doing good.
All right, thanks, Alan. Well, still to come on KTEN News at 6, the Foxes are one step away from the state title game. Hear how they plan to get it done this Friday night, later in sports.
Plus, how several Texoma retailers plan to use cell phones to drive up sales this year.
Almost everyone is familiar with the popular Christmas tradition, Elf on a Shelf. Now, 2 Texoma business owners are taking that concept downtown.
As KTEN's Marky Martin shows us, it's an effort to get people to shop locally this holiday season.
Where should we put these guys?
Sherman shoppers now need to keep their eyes peeled for 2 new elves in town, Cotton and Hobby, who are about to make their debut in stores near you.
Yeah, that's cute.
They are the center of a new idea called Selfie as an Elfie, created by friends and downtown business owners Tedra Franklin and Mandy Riley.
So it's the photo contest, and it's to help drive business to other small businesses, which is, you know, the big picture.
The contest will launch on Black Friday. Every day, participants will be able to log on to Facebook and find out where the elves are located. Once you find them, snap a selfie and post it to Franklin's Painting with a Twist page or Riley's Vintage Tea account.
We've got grand prizes from each of the places. So as the elves have escaped and have gone to these other businesses, they've grabbed some loot from those businesses, and that goes into 2 grand prizes. And the people that have the most votes at the end of the contest will win those prizes.
While the game is fun and the grand prizes are nice, both women say these simple toys could mean a more prosperous new year for downtown Sherman and many local families.
Especially during the holidays, if we don't, shop locally and shop small, then we're sending our business and our money elsewhere, and it's hard to sustain small businesses if we don't get participation from the community.
It pays for my daughter's school. It pays for everything that comes back to the community. And it's just home is where the heart is kind of thing. So shop at home, small businesses.
Reporting from Sherman, I'm Marky Martin.
Selfie as an Elfie will run through December 12th, and the community will vote on their favorite participants the next 2 days. Both women say this is a contest they expect to hold every year.
Well, it's the season of giving, and one Texoma family wants to make sure no one in the area goes without over the holidays. It's all part of the 18th annual Bob Skaggs food drive. Texomans from all over come and fill up U-Haul trucks with non-perishable food items and cash to help the less fortunate families in need have a brighter holiday.
I'm from Phoenix. We're from Phoenix. I've never lived in a more giving community. We're not the richest community money-wise, but we are grateful and we give.
And if you couldn't make it out today, you still have time. The food drive will end tomorrow. Again, it'll be at the Walmart parking lot in Sherman.
And Chase joining us now, Battle of the Boroughs.
That's right. Yeah, it's coming up. It's going to be right here in our backyard at Denison High School's Munson Stadium. It's also Black Friday, so come get your shopping done and watch some good football at Munson Stadium. These two teams, they play a lot, but this is the biggest one yet. Hear from both head coaches coming up after the break.
Now sports with Chase Shannon.
Big game Thursday afternoon for the Dallas Cowboys as they'll battle Philadelphia for NFC East supremacy. This will be the team's first of 2 meetings this season, and it has huge playoff implications. One cause for concern for Dallas is Philly's hurry-up offense. Chip Kelly's scheme is just like what you see in the college game. Head coach Jason Garrett of the boys knows it's different than what they're used to week to week, but they're up for the challenge.
Some of the things we do in practice to get ready for it, we'll continue to rely on. But, we have to look at what their team is now and what we are now and what we do best.
Denison's Munson Stadium will be rocking in just 3 days as the Pottsboro Cardinals and Whitesboro Bearcats will clash in the Class 3A Division I Region 2 semifinals. This is the biggest game in Bearcat football history as they're already farther than they've ever been. Pottsboro, meanwhile, they're playing for their first trip to the region final since 2008. These two teams would just meet at Bearcat Stadium less than 3 weeks ago. The Cards would come up with a 10-point win, and as they both look to win and play in December, they know it won't be easy.
Our guys understand the importance of this game and where we are right now. This is not, we're not just finishing up district. This is to continue playing on. They know that there's no tomorrow after Friday night. You're not guaranteed a next week. You're not guaranteed a tomorrow. That it's win or go home. So they understand the importance of that. They'll be ready to play, I can assure you.
At this time of the year, the best team is going to come out on top, and and that's the reason why you play the game, to see if you can. And it's not, you don't have to be the best team on paper. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. Is a lot of times, at this time of the year, people are going to be good, whether you're 4-8 or or 12-0.
Here's a look at who else is left. Pilot Point holding it down for D1 against Mineola, while Howe and Gunner and S&S are all still alive in the lower division. S&S Gunner clashing Saturday at Denison. The winner of that one playing the winner of the Howe game. It's state semifinal time in Oklahoma's Class C. The Foxes squaring off with undefeated Tipton at Cache High School Friday night. The Fox are riding high on an 11-game winning streak after falling 48-8 to the Tigers in Week 1. Since that loss, they're scoring an average of 54 points a game. They also aren't the same team we saw all the way back in early September.
There's a big difference. The team at the first of the season, we were all nervous and stuff like that. Well, we come out now and we're ready to play once we step out on that field.
We've come more together. We've got our positions sorted out. We've had some position changes. We've just come together as brothers, so they have each other's back every day, on and off the field.
It's semifinal time in Class 5A as well. Ardmore and McAllister. We could have a Southeast Oklahoma title showdown if those two teams advance. Plus Davis alive in the 2A quarters. Wynnewood, Stratford, and Ringling all hoping to survive and advance to the Class A Elite 8. So it's all coming down to it this week. Wow, we've got some great matchups in store for us. So let's get through the holiday, not get too full for these local kids so they can play some football on Friday and Saturday.
Might have a handful of state champions before this is all over.
Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be a great time up here, yeah.
All right, thanks, Chase. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Alan, we couldn't ask for a better week.
I tell you, for this time of year, it's going to be very, very nice for us. I think right on through the holiday weekend, temperatures kind of crisp and cool at night and in the morning, and then pleasantly warm to mild in the afternoon. A little bit of wind on Saturday. Other than that, I don't see too many changes coming up until about maybe this time or Wednesday of next week. So no travel issues in our part of the country anyway.
All right, thanks, Alan. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Enjoy the wheel. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.